on, guys? This is Riggs, and welcome back to another PUBG Mobile video. Guys, the official patch notes are finally in the inbox. I've been waiting so patiently for Tencent to send them, and by patient, I mean I've been bugging them about every other day trying to get these, but they're here. The official patch notes for update 2.2. And as of right now, what I've been covering in the update are just what I've been finding myself playing beta, right? The different things with Nusa, you know, the 𝑒𝓂𝓃𝓎𝓃 3.0, you know, as some people are calling it, you know, the different changes, just kind of literally just exploring the map and finding new things. And that's the videos I'm bringing you. Now we have the official patch notes because I always know they always have juicy little things they just slide in there that you wouldn't be able to find otherwise, right? We're not going to go over every single one of these because, again, I've already made a bunch of videos, you know, talking about Nusa, you know, the new mechanic, my last video, which was the elevator, the zip lines, you know, the new, how the recoil system, the tactical crossbow, and the NS2000 shotgun. I've done videos on all of those things, so we can kind of, you know, just skip over that. But I will leave cards up at the top, and I'll leave like a nice little breakdown in the description. So if you want to watch the NS shotgun video, boom, it'll be right there. If you want to see, you know, the secrets of Nusa, boom, it'll be right there. But this is the big one that I want to show you guys. And my favorite part about the patch notes is the newest thing that we've been seeing, and they've done this I think 2 times already. This is the 3rd time, where it's almost becoming like a monthly or like every other month they're making balance changes, right? Some weapons receiving buffs, some receiving nerfs, and these are the types of changes that can really enhance or kind of engage more of the player base, right? Because certain weapons that might not have been as popular before can now kind of come into the meta. And we really saw this with the UMP. Everyone knows when the UMP got buffed, it completely changed the entire meta. And we saw that also in the last patch where they now made the Scar L do more damage and actually make it slightly better than the M416. No one expected that coming. We're going to see something similar in this update as well. All right, so let's go ahead and start up at the top where it says 𝑒𝓂𝓃𝓎𝓃. What did they change? What could they have possibly changed for the 𝑒𝓂𝓃𝓎𝓃? Let's check it out. It says increase the base damage, increase the firing rate, and increased the reload speed. So basically, to sum it up, the 𝑒𝓂𝓃𝓎𝓃 is by far, hands down, going to be the best 5.56 AR in the entire game. I cannot wait to see what this looks like once it comes to global. This is going to be crazy. I'll do my absolute best, you know, to hop onto the beta and see if these changes are already in beta or not. But I mean, the update's gonna be coming in a few days, so very, very excited for the 𝑒𝓂𝓃𝓎𝓃. Speaking of weapons that often get left behind, I would say the next weapon we're going to talk about probably gets left behind more than the AUG when we're talking about airdrop weapons, and that is, you guessed it, the MK14. Why people leave this weapon behind, I have no clue. But this one, it's also kind of weird because they sort of nerfed it, but then they kind of buffed it at the same time. But let's go ahead and read through it. It says slightly reduced the firing rate. That's going to be tough. So the bullets are not going to be flying out of the weapon as fast as they were before. That's going to be tough. However, it says increased the bullet travel speed. So your bullets will be coming out of the barrel slower, but when the bullet does come out of the barrel, it's going to be traveling at a much higher rate. That's very, very interesting. But they also reduced the weapon damage drop off. Now, the way that's read, reduced the weapon damage drop. If they just said reduce the weapon damage, that would be tough. But it's weapon damage drop off. So this is actually a buff. So you're going to hit them harder when they're further away. It also slightly reduced the recoil. This is also good because, I mean, that's one thing about the MK14 is you can use it long range, mid range, short range, just by swiping, swiping, you know, from single to full auto. The reducing the recoil is for the sprays when you're talking about the MK14. You know, when you throw a 2x on there, when you throw a 3x, the recoil when you're just using it hip fire. So, I mean, It's mainly buffs, but they did reduce the firing rate, so we're gonna have to wait and see how this one's gonna play out. So let me know what you guys think of these changes. It's kind of weird. I've never seen where they kind of, it's like in the same paragraph, it's like it's a nerf buff. I don't know. It's like it's kind of weird, but we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Let me know what you think of the MK14 down in the comment section. All right, and the next one we're gonna talk about, this is a big one. Balance adjustments for designated marksman rifles. PUBG Mobile will not let these two weapons go, specifically the SKS and the Mini 14. Both of these have received multiple buffs in the past. They are determined. They're like, damn it, you are going to use the SKS and you're going to like it. You are going to use the Mini 14 and you're going to like it. So we've seen these weapons buffed in the past. According to their analytics, clearly no one's using them still. Of course, some people use them, but not the majority. The vast majority is not. Maybe this will change your mind. So let's take a look. All right, we'll start with the SKS first. Slightly reduced the recoil duration of single shots so that the crosshair return. They even break it down what they're even saying. It says so that the crosshair returns quickly, meaning once you shoot the weapon and it bounces, it's gonna come right back a lot faster. Increase the recoil recovery speed, which is very similar, to what we just read. So that the crosshair is closer to the firing direction upon returning. That's that recoil recovery. Increasing the predictability of the crosshair return position. And that's the problem with a lot of these weapons is recoil prediction, right? So with SKS, again, we're gonna have to see how this looks like in game, but it looks like it's gonna have a much faster recoil speed, and that there's not going to be as much of a bounce when you shoot it. It says reduces the screen shake when firing with a scope. Increased the base damage from 53 to 55. It's only 2 more damage, but that 2 damage will make a huge difference, you guys. How many times have you shot the SKS and you're like, oh, they're one shot. This would increasing damage by 2 will prevent something like that from happening. Increase the base damage multiplier of shots against the torso. Increase the damage multiplier of shots against the torso from 1 to 1.05. That's going to be big. Speaking of big, let's talk about the Mini 14. Slightly reduce the horizontal recoil multiplier to minimize the chance of moving. Keep in mind, if someone's already mastered the Mini 14, they can already fire this thing fast enough, to make it, sound like, a fully automatic weapon. So now they're going to reduce the horizontal recoil. That's going to be crazy. Reduce the overall recoil when firing continuously. Like I just said, when you're rapid firing, meaning that crosshair is going to be locked on target. That's going to be ridiculous. So if you've already been good with the Mini 14, you've just instantly become better. Increase the base damage. This is huge, you guys. Watch this. Increase the base damage from 46 to 49. So the Mini 14 is now going to do 3 more damage than it did before. Increase the damage multiplier of torso shots also from 1 to 1.05. Now, one thing I will say is until there's some sort of a change to the 5.56 ARs in PUBG Mobile, people will not be using DMRs like they want them to. I mean, we constantly, we keep seeing all these buffs, but when you keep buffing the DMRs until you do something to the 5.56 AR, there's a reason why people are constantly using the SCAR L, the M416, the fan favorite, like the G36C. It's because they're reliable. You can spray, full auto spray, whether you're playing thumbs, whether you're playing gyro, doesn't matter. You can full auto spray with little to practically no recoil, with a 4X, a 6X, and these DMRs take a lot more skill, take a lot more patience. It's tap fire. They're harder to use than just pressing a button and using a full auto spray. So that's why everyone's using the ARs, because they're easier to use. So will some people pick up the SKS and the Mini, over you know, a full auto spray, you know, from an M4, sure, there might be some, but the vast majority, I just don't know if this will be enough change. I think these changes are great, but I just don't know if they're going to be more reliable than, you know, your friendly neighborhood, you know, AR in PUBG Mobile. It always just seems to be a very, very exciting time, you know, when they do things like this. Especially out of all these, I'm most excited to try out the brand new best AR in the entire game, which is the 𝑒𝓂𝑒𝓃𝓎𝓃. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to use it. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, of course, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But until the next one, this is Brent.